I'm very happy to say you cannot solve any of the crises that our world currently faces without taking on the 1%. It's just not possible. That 1%, and not even the 1%, the 0.001%, it just should not exist. There is no reason for anyone to be sitting on $200 billion, for goodness sake, no reason in the world. We could take away 99.9% of Elon Musk's wealth, and he wouldn't notice. It's completely insane. So we have to take on the super wealthy. We absolutely have to. So yeah, completely agree with that. Jane, completely agree. It's frustrating that's the case, but yes, there are positive ways of mobilizing around that. The unions question. There's a couple of things in there. One is, as I think a couple of people have already noted in the comments thread, that's kind of already happening. And I think this is one of the reasons why the unions are scared. This idea that there could be a power base outside the official labour force. There's been lots of commentary over decades now that one of the reasons behind the collapse in union membership globally is that people less and less identify with their paid labour. And that is unfortunately actually thanks to the success of the labour movement. The labour movement have successfully, for a large proportion of the population, helped people not have to be defined by what they sell their labour for, to find other meaning in their lives, to find other paths. And as a consequence, the power of organised labour has decreased. That is an irony, but it is true. That's not to say that organised labour doesn't remain a central part of how power works in our society, and I think always will do. And they are also caught up now in the suppression of democracy, the suppression of advocacy, of the criminalisation of protest, all of those kinds of things. The union movement globally just continues to play and is finding really fascinating ways of engaging differently in political processes. The labour movement in the USA, the AFL-CIO, was heavily involved in the organising around the pro-democracy organising in the US in the last couple of months around how do we respond to the expectation that there will be an attempted coup, which there was. So the labour movement, if they're smart, can think of really interesting and creative ways of how they actually shift their organising into a new world. If the labour movement insists on continuing to organise as if the world still is as it was in the 1930s and 40s, they will become irrelevant. Just like any other organising group, you have to move with the times. So I think UBI genuinely will accelerate that process. So there is probably reason why people in the union movement who don't particularly want to change are scared of it. But if they do that, if they fail to change, they will become more irrelevant much faster. And as I said earlier on, I will mourn that. I'm a union member for a long time and a union supporter, a very big believer in the importance of unionism, but they have to change. They have to move with the times.